Right, good evening everyone and welcome to the Amateur TV Net, which is held every Tuesday night at 8 PM. We had a great meet and greet on Saturday morning, last Saturday morning, and it was really good. Met a lot of the guys that we've been talking to on the net, or I should say on the repeater, and some of the guys who've just been watching came in. There was a lot of interest in the guys that haven't been able to come up on the air yet, looking at all the gear, and hopefully we'll see them on the air very soon. So this evening I know we have Bob VK3 BVR watching, Mark 3 JMA, Clint's 3 CSJ, Dennis 3 WV, Steve 3 NF, Nick VK3 BA, and thanks Nick for coming along and bringing on along all those little bits of coax which will come in very, very handy. And Fred VK3 ZAQ is also watching. And let me see, I think that's the only ones I can identify currently. 9 watching on YouTube, and there's a couple watching on Rob VK3 IE's BATC feed. So you can watch the repeater directly. That's the best way to watch the net, or you can look at Ian's YouTube feed or Rob VK3 IE's BATC feed. Of course, don't forget Richard VK3 VRS's Discord feed. So we're going to switch across to Peter very shortly. I see he's got his logo up as we speak, so if you're ready, Peter, if you could take it away and give us your report. So we're all looking forward to seeing your face up shortly. Don't see your face yet, so everyone please switch across to RTV1 for Peter Cozzens VK3 BFG.
Okay, we should be on. I think, yeah, the mic's live and we're away. Yeah, I'd like to second Neil's comments about the meet and greet. Absolute orchids to John, 3 ATV, for his organisation and his idea of getting us all together, which bit historic. We don't do it all that often. I mean, occasionally we meet each other at Hamfests and stuff like that, but not as a group as we did. And as I mentioned to some other people this afternoon, typical Melbourne ATV group. There's no minutes of the last meeting. There's no chairman. There's just us, and we all get together, and it was a great event. So John, absolute fantastic for you. From that little comment, unfortunately, I've got some sad news that Gary 2CRJ and John 2ATU won't be able to come on the net or the QSO party either. They apparently have lots of works happening just next door, and it's all a bit stressful and causing Gary and John a lot of heartache. So look, all the best up there, guys. We hope we'll see you again whenever you're ready to come back on. That's sure. And we appreciate the efforts that you've made over the last few months. It's been really good. So just a reminder, of course, the DATV QSO party is on August 31. It'll be an all-day event, well, sort of. We'll go in the morning and probably into the afternoon a bit, and then we'll have a break for dinner and come back on again for the evening session. So that should work pretty well. And of course, one of the features of the evening session is hopefully we'll be getting contacts via the satellite in the Northern Hemisphere, which will be a bit unique. But of course, we've still got our friends from the US on Saturday morning, and they'll be there for sure. And of course, we always look forward to the final one there with Roland and KC6 JPG in Los Angeles, and all the network that he brings in. So hopefully it'll work well this year. I've got some backup. I've got Ian, VK3QL, and Neil, VK3BCU, both acting as backup. So if the wheels fall off here, we can we can fall back on those guys, and they'll be in the background. We run a back channel on Zoom, just for the purpose of liaison and organising who's going to come up next, etc. So both Neil and Ian will be in that room together with the rest of us, so that they will know exactly what's going on and be able to hop in and fix something if the wheels fall off here, which they've tended to do over the last years. Although just lately the internet system seems to be okay. I've purchased a fairly expensive switch, which has made a big difference actually. So hopefully that will hold up okay for us. Just a little plea. The Eastern Mountain Districts Radio Club do have a milling machine, but it doesn't seem to be accurate enough for what I need. And I've got a copper heat spreader here, which is that small. But what I need is a slot milled in that to 1 millimetre fairly accurately. It's only a slot of about 100 mil wide, something like that. So if anyone has access to a machine shop or has a machine shop themselves, a milling machine that's fairly accurate. The reason is that the FET, the dual FET, sits in there, and you can't stress the flanges on it at all. Otherwise, it will fail. So hopefully somebody might be able to help me with the milling of that heat spreader, and then I'll be able to build the board that Roger, the K5YY, has sent over for us, and that'll be another backup for the transmitter at RTV. And talking about RTV, we've been doing some experiments there, and we've still got an intermod problem that is desensing the receivers. We're trying to track it down. We thought maybe we had it fixed, but no, it's come back, and that's very typical of that kind of a problem. The next step, I think, will be that I'll take a spectrum analyzer, a spec an up there, and with the tracking gen, and I'll sweep the filter and just see what the response of that is. Also, I'll measure the input impedance of the thing with the thing terminated. So just to see if that's perhaps the source of the problems. And I can see Ray VK3 ACR in Sunbury with a very nice picture on RTV2. That's really good. So there we are. Also this afternoon we're doing some adjustments on the modulator, and I connected the lead that normally goes to the modulator to the mux, and it's got an RS232 line on it, which is okay because the mux takes that, but there's also a key line on it, and I have damaged the mux a bit to the point where it won't boot up unless I give it a lot of encouragement. In other words, I have to be there with a PC and reset it manually. So it's all operational, but if the power goes off, I'll have to go up there and with the PC and just get it going again. My heart sort of sank when Neil, who was working with me, reported that we had a black screen on RTV1. And then I did some adjustments, and we had a black screen on both. So we went backwards, and eventually I got both going again. And that's just part of the deal, I suppose. I really shouldn't have done that, but you do those sorts of things sometimes. Anyway, the mux has survived. I do have a spare mux down in the cupboard down there, so if the wheels really fall off, well, we can replace the mux. I've got a little show and tell over here. I've been working on Clearview receivers actually, and I've got two here, one from Rob, VK3IE, and the one that's on the bench over here is from Neil, 3BCU. So let me just sort this one out. We want camera one, don't we? All right, let's go up there. And we should be on camera one. And yes, I'm using the ATEM switcher on a PC just there. So finally getting a little bit better with the production. I have shown this before, but there's probably some people that haven't seen the sort of thing that we do here. That line there, the white cable, is off the active end of the receive lead. So we're feeding that into a little circuit here, which that's just a comparator, and when the lead voltage goes up, the comparator will fire and just turns that little FET switch on and activates that relay there, and that then short circuits a line up to the controllers, and it tells the controller, hey, we've got a signal. But as well as that, there's an RS-232 line that you probably can't see. There's the end of it. It goes into here, and that controls actually controls this little pickaxe micro. And you can see here I've broken this line on this cable that comes across here. That's actually the infrared line coming in from the front panel there, and then it goes through a little bit of electronics so that you can still use your remote and it will still work. But when the controller sends a letter down here, and it's usually an A, a B, or a C, or a D, depending on whether it's RTV 1, 2, or 3 channel or 4 channel, and then the little pickaxe responds with the appropriate code that comes out here. So it's possible to have the normal code coming through here and just goes straight through. But if the pickaxe gets a letter that's sent from the controller, then it will send the code there, and the code that is sent is where we get the signal reports from. And the way in which I program the little pickaxe is I've got this infrared receiver there, and there's the Clearview remote. And what I do up here, I capture the where are we? Can't find it again. Just one moment. Getting there. It's up there, and it's not very good. So we've got some light on it. We'll go a bit closer, and you can see there that the format is quite straightforward, in the sense that there is a start pulse there. It's actually a dual one. It's this one and this one here, and that's always there for any of these infrared ones. And then there's a series of long and short pulses. And I simply count what's there, how many short, how many long, etc. along here, and then I program that into the little pickaxe. So when the letter comes from the controller, the pickaxe responds with that code, which goes into the main board, and so we get the signal report up. So you can see there that we wouldn't want to be making any claims on the manufacturer if something goes wrong, because we are sort of interfering with what's going on there. So yeah, it's one of those things. All right, well that's about all I've got for tonight. I think I've got to hand over to Richard. And Richard, I'm using DVBS tonight. So if you start rolling right now, you should be able to come on fairly smoothly. So I need to go to that one.
Oh dear, trying to get things organised. Righty, hopefully, looks like I've got audio. Yep, very good. Yeah, it's always fascinating watching all the bits and pieces that you've got there, Peter, for the repeater. It's it's always good. You always pick up something, even if you've seen it before, you sort of forget and you go, oh yeah, that's right. That's how you do that. So it's always very, very handy. I'm sort of working on a few things too. I've got it's hard to see with the green screen, but this is just a DVB-T receiver going into a 1 in and a 4 out. I'm actually going to duplicate that as well. Use one of these to put the signal into both. So yeah, and as people would have saw on the weekend that came, I'm using one of these bad boys. So if anyone hasn't found them yet and would like a link, by all means email me. People who didn't know, this is actually a HDMI ribbon cable, which you buy the ribbons in different sizes, and you buy the actual plugs. I can't remember how to open this. Live TV. You buy them in a set and you just snap them off individually, and they come off individually like that. And you just push them together. And it's a lot better having them when you've got a lot of HDMIs in one spot, as people have seen at my little setup. That's what this is all about. I'm actually making this into my dual channel receiver here locally and outputting that into 4 separate outputs, going into a matrix, also going directly to my vMix computer, so I can actually put the receiver straight onto into vMix. So, and then I can mix it around and put it on all these different screens that I've got going here. So yeah, anyway, that's one of the projects. If anyone is interested, the other quirk with the board, it came with European plug, so you can't use the AC side of it, but see if I can get it. Yeah, you can see it. So you can see here, not sure if you can read it, but that's the DC in. So you can choose to either wire directly to it or put a socket on if you like. So that shouldn't be too hard. Obviously I'm not using the SCART plug. I'm just going to use the HDMI out, and I'll just use the input, this one here, for the TV. What I intend to do is, I know Clint doesn't like those. So Clint, there you go. So my connection will be sticking through a box, and it'll be the F-type, and then I'll do F-type onto those Bellingly plugs that you love so much, Clint. if anyone's interested in this, and it does tune, by the way, on RTV. I have checked it before I pulled it all apart. That's the box. The important thing is if you just search on AliExpress for that number, it'll pop up. So no problems there at all. You'll find it. And the 4-port splitter is that one. So pretty easy to find. You can see that's the empty shell. And that's what it looks like. So yeah, the only other thing I have to add to it is a little 5-volt regulator. So I'm going to power this off 12 volts, and obviously the little board runs off 5, as you would have seen on there, 5 volts DC. So I'll just have to make up a little 5-volt regulator for that. So too easy, and that's what the front panel looks like if anyone's interested. So obviously not needed anymore. Anyway, moving on. The weekend. John, absolutely fantastic. I think it was extremely well attended by both existing ATVers who are constantly transmitting and also coming in all different varying degrees of where they're up to, being both receiving and also transmitting. It's very good. Did I see a dropout then? I don't know if that's me or the repeater. I was very impressed with how it all went, so much so that I even took a video. So I managed to get some time to actually do this video. So let me see if I can organise it. And yep, you might recognise, if you attended, you might recognise it. If you didn't, you'll see a little bit of what you missed out on. So I'll stop yabbering and put it on.
I've got another one which I want to find, which is the next version of this attenuated dead bucket on there. It was a gold pipe cam instead of what they did, Gully 39. And I use this input now, it's just
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
And here we are back live. Yeah, it was very, very, very good. I filmed sort of later in the day, and so a couple of people left, but that's okay. They know they were there, and I'm quite sure that John ATV has got some video as well to add to that, so that'll be good. Yeah, I counted, I think there was about 8 up-and-coming potential new ATVers, and in total I think it was about 20 all told that actually attended. So I thought that was actually quite good, and everyone I've spoken to enjoyed it, and looking forward to the next one. And a lot of the guys who missed out for whatever reasons, they've also expressed that they would like to attend one when the next one comes up. So hopefully the timing works out well for them. I do have another video to put on. It's because people that were out there were asking about my transmitter setup, because I explained it but didn't have it with me. So I've actually got a short little video. This one's only 4 minutes, so hopefully we've got plenty of time. But I'll put it on. I'll stop yabbering and I'll put it on, and yeah, after that it'll be over to Mick CH. So but still here on RTV1. So anyway, we'll put it on so everyone can see what I've got. Okay, so just for everyone, this is my ATV transmitter. So it's the ports down. So this is the actual transmitter part of ports down. So as you can see, I've just got it in a case. And J-car. So you'll see that I've got RX and TX, 12 volt in, and it's a USB. So yeah, because this is made for television, I've magically removed the screws, and that's what we've got on the inside. So you can see there, it's just a simple little two-way adapter, a USB 3 adapter, straight into the line, and then the line. Oh look, I've upgraded. So I used to have this in there, but thanks to Nick, BK3BA, he's actually given me some hardline, so I've put the hardline in on the transmit. So that's what we've got in there now. So you can see there, it's very simple. Comes out of the line, out of the transmit, into the little mini circuits amp. So if anyone was interested, I'll spin that around, and there's the model number of circuits that I'm using. I've used that instead of the PHA1 because I get just a tiny little bit more power, and I don't have to drive the line as hard. And for me, I don't need a lot of power to get in. I'm fortunate in my position. I've also got plans, which one day I'll actually get around to. You can see here, I've got some leads off here, and they actually go into the line to actually extend the flashing lights to tell you whether you're transmitting or not. And it's just a simple power switch and an LED to tell me whether I'm TXing or not, which I haven't actually finished connecting. So I need those leads. So that's a simple. I think I've still got a link for the USB if anybody's interested, and you can probably see that's just glued in, and seems like it's floating, but I've been a little bit sneaky, and you can see that the screw that holds the foot in is actually holding up the actual adapter. There's nothing under the actual line. It's basically just the connection to the amp that's holding it up at this end. No problems at all. I've been asked about heat dissipation. Well, generally I don't drive the line any higher than about 85-90%, and I have no heat problems. I've transmitted for well over an hour, and it doesn't get any excessively hot at all. No problems at all there. So if you are a little bit concerned, you could probably put just a fan blowing across it. You could mount a fan maybe, and you can see there's holes in the case, so you could blow air across and that would give you probably sufficient cooling. So that's my ATV transmitter, and of course the that plugs into the Raspberry Pi and runs the port stand software. Hopefully that was interesting.
It bounced around. Dubbed Galloping Goat.
Right, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, I think I had a sequence of videos from video. Anyway, so that's all I've got for tonight. Hope that was informative and interesting for people. Yeah, enjoy. So Mick, I think Mick's on RTV1 as well. So by all means, Mick, I'm going to switch over to the good old fashion colour bars and or test pattern, and then it'll be over to you. So thanks for watching.
Hello. Alright, good day everyone, and yes, it says I'm transmitting audio. Yes, very blotchy, so we'll see how well hold up. Yeah, I seem to be able to get into one, but not two for the moment, so there you go. Good to catch up with everyone on Saturday, and yes, John ATV, very good idea. I'm sure it will salivate the mouths of a lot of people seeing stuff and saying, oh yeah, I can get into this. I've said it before many times. Look at videos, you can look at magazines, but when you sort of see it in the flesh, and you can talk to other people and pick up, ask questions, it's all real. And so yes, or you can watch it here, of course. So there you go. To Nick, thanks for the hardline, and also Peter, a piece from him. And yeah, I've got the stuff there in the corner. We've just got to finish it when we don't have so many interruptions. I've got to visit to JCar just to grab a few other bits and pieces just to finish it off. And I'll probably need a little of glue for one part of it as well. I'm just getting some ideas in my head about how I'm going to get around a problem. Alright, I think the glitches aren't the SR system, those sort of crystalline dots. So when we can finally get onto DVB-T, hopefully we can alleviate all those problems. Alright, that's about all I've got for tonight. Much other real news. I'll put it back over to Neil, so everyone can go back over to RTV2, and we'll continue it. I don't believe there was anyone following me, unless there was some late changes to the role. Alright, so we'll catch us later. Cheers.
Right, thanks for... I think I'm right. Yep. So it's good to see that you get into RTV1, Mick. So it's good to see you back up on the air. Well, I don't really have a lot to show, except I can remotely control my transmitter using my phone. So that's all very exciting. So I've got a little Wi-Fi switch in the transmitter, so that's my little bit. So Ian, you're next if you want to get ready to transmit. And Ian, if you could put it across to John. And I'm sure John's got a lot to report on from the meet and greet we had on the weekend. So take it away, Ian.
Great. Oh, thanks, Neil. Thanks for running the net, and thanks for the guys over on RTV1. And no, there was great gathering on Saturday. So yeah, put a lot of names to faces, or faces to names, both on the watchers side of things, and first time to greet some of the other ATVers, which I haven't. I'd say half I hadn't met personally. So yeah, that was great, and thanks John ATV for organising it. Yeah, we could make it a regular thing every 6 months or 3 months or something, or 12 months. I think Neil wants to meet more than more regularly than others. But no, all good. Just on I think I said 195. Yeah, 195 nets. Nick pointed out last week, actually on the chat, and I didn't get around to mentioning it, that he was thought that the first net from Mount View was 4 years ago, namely, well, I've got the date now. I did a bit of research, which hunted through the archives, and the 14th of July 2020, in the middle of COVID, we ran the first, no, Neil ran the first net, and just before that I made a note that the first stable operation that I witnessed of the repeater occurred 5:29 p.m. on the 29th of June 2020, so that was only about 2 weeks before. So yeah, so we're just over 4 years of operation, and still going strong. So going from strength to strength in terms of functionality, introducing I've forgotten when we went to S2, whether that was from the start of Mount View. Anyway, I'm sure someone will remember. And we've obviously introduced T input. So yeah, no, all good fun. The QSO party, Peter mentioned that, and if I push this button, I hopefully keep audio, and we have the QSO party. This graphic is courtesy of Rob VK3IE. It's a bit more colourful than I usually put together, but no, it was a great job there. Don't know if I recognise any of the faces, but I think laws of privacy and all of that would forbid that. No, just joking. And what I thought I might do is just play the introduction, or part of the introduction that Martin K4FKK, which Peter's been liaising with. Martin mentioned that he runs the BATC net on QO100. So I just thought I'd run that synopsis. It sort of shows the sort of preparation and interest that the QSO party is generating. So here we go. Over to Martin, K4. Let's try again. G4FKK, President of the BATC.
An interesting thing happening at the end of the month on Saturday, the 31st of August, is, now what do they call it here? The DATV QSO party, which is being held via VK3RTV, which is a repeater in Melbourne, Australia, being supervised and run by Peter, VK3BFG, who I spoke with earlier this week. We did a few tests. So what I'm hoping to do is to be able to link up the Australian QSO party with Oscar 100, and perhaps get some links going. I will put a bit more about this on the forum in due course when I've worked out exactly how it's going to work. But it all looks very complicated to me. But hopefully, by the time we've got it sorted, all you'll need to do is watch the Australians on QO100, and then they can watch you on QO100 as well, if we get all the linking going well. Anyway, I'll put more details on the forum, but that's the 31st of August, the last Saturday in August at 0900 UTC, so that's 10 o'clock British summer time, but 9 o'clock for everyone else UTC. And everyone's welcome, so anyone from any country who can get on the satellite will be welcome to join in with that. Right.
So those times obviously are British times, the UK times, and also you mentioned an hour earlier, which is European time, I believe. So a lot of work's going on in the background. Peter's deeply involved in all that, and so there's a lot of interest in the UK, and I believe ATN Roland is working feverishly away to repeat his extravaganza for the North America, as well as some other yet to be announced interested parties to appear on the QSO party from overseas, and of course we've got people from all over Australia. So it's a chance for VKers to appear on the QO100 satellite, geosynchronous satellite. Right, now I have been showing little bits of Dave's of Portsdown fame presentation to ham radio. So here's the presentation segment that he did covering the signal generator functionality of the Portsdown 4.
The ham radio event at Friedrichshafen in Germany, held annually in June, is a renowned international trade fair focused on amateur radio. This year, one of the highlighted forums delved into digital amateur radio, DATV, showcasing various DATV systems such as Portsdown, Pluto and Node-RED. Dave G8GKQ presented on the testing capabilities of Portsdown 4 to the forum attendees. The following video is part of Dave's presentation on the Portsdown's capabilities.
Next one is the signal generator. This is essentially an interface to whatever you plug into the Raspberry Pi. I've put in some approximate amplitude calibration. It's just using lookup tables. The sources aren't necessarily clean. They're as clean as the SDR or whatever you're using. And with different sources, you can cover 1 Hertz to 30 gigs with this. It was originally designed with the Lime SDR, which of course covers from 70 megs to 3.5 gigs, but it also works with the Pluto up to 6 gigs. And thanks to some research by Colin G4EML, we've found that the Pluto has a very significant fifth harmonic. So you can also control that by directly entering the frequency, and it'll give an output up to 30 gigs. Very low level, but great for checking receivers, especially at 24 gigs. You can use an ADF4351 from eBay. That'll work up to 4.4 gigs. The more expensive ADF5355 will also work up to 13 gigs. Down at the lower end, you can use an ADF9850, and that'll give you anything from 1 Hertz to about 50 megs. And on the specialist side of the house, it'll drive an LCOM source, which is a high stability, low phase noise source available on the surplus market. And it'll also drive a Nort SLO, which are sold by an Italian company who go to ham radio. I've got 3 or 4 of these sources in the 10 and 11 gig range, and they're really useful, but only fairly narrow. This is what the control panel looks like. You just touch the plus or minus buttons to change the frequency, and if you can adjust the level, I mean clearly on an ADF 9850 you can't adjust the level, but on a Lime SDR or a Pluto you can. If you want to adjust the level, you simply press the plus and minus arrows next to the dBm setting there. So really simple touchscreen interface. A lot of my kit is built up from ex-surplus stuff. This was an AD 9850 I cut out of something else. You can see a roughly hacked printed circuit board, but that works a treat. So it doesn't need to be all neat and tidy.
Great. So the full 45-minute presentation is now been put up on the BATC Online YouTube channel. So that's available to watch the entirety of all the test equipment functionality of the Portsdown 4. All right. The next thing I thought I'd cover is the Bendigo Hamfest. It is coming up to 25 sleeps. This is a return after, I believe, someone said a quarter of a century, 25 years. So imagine all the exotic treasures that have been stored over those years that can now come out and be put on tables available for sale on Sunday the 18th of August. 25 sleeps to go, and of course you can catch the tram to the gold mine, to which I would imagine is the Hamfest. All good. Right, so let's start wrapping up on a quiz. So this quiz actually is got questions on vacuum tubes, geomagnetic activity, and how to measure PEP power with an oscilloscope. So it covers a lot of bases. So here is the quiz. So I'll hand it over to you, John, in about a minute. So you might like to get ready. I'll close on Lucy saying goodbye for the evening, and also I'll run the scroll of the Melbourne group. Just point out there's been a few additions. Ray, VK3 ACR, and Peter, VK3 TLF are two additional stations that I've seen in the last few weeks appearing on the repeater, so I've added them to the list. So here we go. Lucy saying good evening to you all and good evening from myself. Catch you next time.
I'm worried about little Dilbert. He's not like other kids.
What do you mean?
Yesterday, I left him alone for a minute, and he disassembled the TV, our clock, and the stereo.
That's perfectly normal. Kids take things apart.
Oh! The part that worries me is he used the components to build a ham radio set.
Oh, dear.
Is that bad?
Normally, I'd want to run an EEG on him, but the machine isn't working. It's worse than I feared.
What is it?
I'm afraid your son has the knack.
The knack?
The knack. It's a rare condition characterized by an extreme intuition about all things mechanical and electrical, and utter social ineptitude.
Can he lead a normal life?
No. He'll be an engineer.
No!
There.
Good evening, everyone. John VK3 ATV in Williamstown. Thanks everyone for the event on the weekend. It, as a few people have mentioned, it went really well. So thanks everyone for coming, and it was a great turnout. Thanks to just a few people. I didn't get to do a list of who attended, but Neil, VK3 BCU, brought along quite a bit of gear, as did a lot of other people. But Neil brought along 3 different types of ATV transmitter for people to have a look at and consider how they could get on air. So thanks for that. Nick 3BA brought along some SMA hardline, which was very popular. It took a while for people to pick some up out of his bin, but once that started, there was a bit of a scramble, and he didn't have to take any of that home. So thank you, Nick, for bringing that along. That'll be quite handy, and obviously, as we saw with Richard, it's already in use. A new face that was there, Stephen, with a new call sign, VK3 TTF. Got his call sign the day after the event. So well done to you, Stephen. and he brought along a great design for a new transmitter, a very ambitious system, and I think if taken in building blocks, that'll be a great transmitter. So we look forward to seeing Stephen on air soon. Andy, VK3 XKA, who is one of the few survivors of DATV Express here, has decided, like me, to move on to something that perhaps might be a little bit more reliable. So he's looking at getting into a transmitter, and probably will go the high des, I think, from our discussions. So yeah, look forward to seeing Andy back on air with a nice clear DVB-T transmission. A pity John C couldn't make it. He's a keen watcher of the net, and is also keen to get on air one day. So hopefully we'll see John, and hopefully he's recovered from his health issues. Thanks, Richard, 3VRS, for the video earlier. That was great. I do have a little bit of video, and perhaps what I might do is grab your video, and I'll put together a presentation of a few different things. I know Peter 3BFG took some photos, so I'll get those and perhaps put it all into a consolidated presentation. I was thinking that next time, I mean, there was lots of discussion. There were many, as you saw from Richard's video, there were many discussions on the day, going on pretty much all day, and most people stayed for the entire length of the event, which was great. So nobody really ran out of anything to talk about, which was great. So we will probably do another one, and I might incorporate, say, a couple of quick 10-minute presentations from people, particularly things like what Neil brought along, the three different types of transmitter, and perhaps I can convince Neil to give a bit of a presentation on that, and the tricks and pitfalls of all the different types. So yeah, I think it was a worthwhile event, and I'd like to see it happen again. Of course, we can do that kind of stuff on air as well, which was mentioned earlier. But it's always great to meet face to face. And although many people didn't take advantage of it, the coffee next door is pretty good. So it's great to be there and be able to grab a coffee and a snack or some lunch. So yeah, I think we'll do that again. Thanks to Amateur Radio Victoria for offering us the premises. It's a very good premises, and I think it's great to be able to utilise that kind of facility for the members as it's intended. I haven't really got anything to present tonight, so that was pretty much it. Just wanted to thank everyone, and it was great to see that everyone enjoyed themselves who came along, and hopefully we'll see a few more people next time, and bringing their projects, and hopefully projects that were inspired by the event on Saturday. All right, that's it from me. We're pretty much on time, so I'll give you back to the studio. So back to Neil, 3BCU. So thanks everyone again for watching. This is John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. I'll put my thanks for watching on Neil, and then you can take over when I drop off. It does. I do tend to notice with DVB-T that you have to wait for the no signal to come up on the repeater before you can actually start your transmitter up. There's no jumping on the tail. All right. Bye all.
Right, thanks for that, John. And I'm on S today, so there would have been a bit of a gap anyway. So I'm trying out a new microphone today. No one's mentioned it, so obviously it's working. Got a wireless lapel microphone just here somewhere. So no one's commented, so I assume it's working as planned. No fan noise, which I tend to have on my transmission. So thanks everyone for what. I've got audio. I do have audio. Good audio. Oh, good audio. Yeah, be worried then. Okay, yeah, thanks for that. Look, every week it's mainly the same stations that come on. I know some of you guys are busy and you're not able to come up and put any video on, but if some of you guys could come up with something like what Richard showed or what I show occasionally, just to break it up a little bit, have a little bit more variety, so think about it. So maybe we'll see a few more stations on next week. So once again, thanks for watching, and what else was I going to say? I think that's about it. So we'll see you all next week. Hopefully there'll be a few more stations on. So cheers, guys.